Hello, hello.
Hey,
Oh my goodness, my friend, I've missed
I know.
you.
I miss. It felt like something was missing from my week last week.
Because it was, and I felt the same.
Tell me about your trip,
Oh my
quick.
goodness. It was so fun. So we just decided to take the kids. They had their fall break, and so we decided to take them on a family road trip. So we stayed
6 hours,
local. Yeah,
six
what? Uh,
hours away.
Yeah, 6 hours. Well, we actually did like a whole big loop. It would have
Oh
been, I
wow.
think, 12 to 15. So it was like we took a 4 hour stint and stayed in a little mountain town. And then we took another 3 hour stint, stayed in a mountain town. So another three. So it's just, I mean, bouncing around. The kids did really, really well. They were not nearly as interested in like the leaves and the weather and the mines and the animals as mom and dad were. They were more interested in the iPads, okay, that they had in the back seat for most of the trip because,
You gotta do what you gotta do.
again,
Yeah.
that mama needed a vacation too. But it was really beautiful. We've seen places literally in our own backyard, like I mean Colorado, and I
Yeah.
believe this is so true for most places out there. That it doesn't matter where you're at. There's just like this natural beauty just all around us, and most of the time we're either so busy or we're so like
Mm,
focused on going so far
yeah.
that we miss what's right in front of us. Like perfect example. Okay, so last year we went to the Cliffs of Moher, Ireland, right? Like so we
Oh,
across the sea to
yeah.
see these massive just formations, and you're just thinking that this is amazing. Well, in one of the places that we went, that's maybe 4 hours from here, it's a national park. It's called Black Canyon National Park, and we're
Okay.
looking at these cliffs, and my brain is trying to wrap my head around how, like, what am I looking at here? Because it felt even bigger than
Mhm.
Cliffs of Moher, which is supposed to be just this absolute, again, majestic in its own way. And sure enough, we looked it up. It was three times, this canyon was three times the size of these cliffs we had traveled
Across
across
the
the park.
world. Yeah. Oh
Exactly.
my.
So it was so cool. It was such a good trip.
You you made me think. So guys, I see you, Ricky. Thank you for joining, Ricky and Mel. I see you. Thank you guys. Um, Brittany and I were thinking about a topic for this talk today, but you actually just inspired one in me. It's like, how do we get ourselves to be more present around us, and you know how can we add more happiness into our lives just from what we've already got here? And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how helpful that is because I know most of the time we want to talk about business and things like that. But I resonate a lot with what you're saying because I live in Miami. I mean, I'm surrounded by water. There's palm trees everywhere, and I'm happy that I'm constantly able to like notice how beautiful it is around me. Like I look up, out on my balcony and I see the tops of all the palm trees, and it's so beautiful, and I'm so happy that I'm here. Um, but like it's something that I'm sure that I am missing some. I'm sure that like I put my blinders on and I don't even realize like how lucky I am, how grateful I
Mm-hmm.
am, or grateful I should be, about all of these things. And so it's also something that I talk to my clients about frequently because frequently we're always focused on what's not going right or
Always.
well.
Like the volume is turned up so loudly
Yeah.
on the noise, on the things that we're not doing right,
Yeah.
that yeah, we a lot of times we even forget how to be present, even though we say that that's what we're longing
Yeah.
for. Oh, I wish I could be more present. Oh, I wish I could find more joy in
Yeah.
that. But yeah, we get going too fast.
Yeah. So I play volleyball on not every Sunday, but a lot of Sundays.
Yeah.
And where I go, like there's a bunch of courts in Miami. You can find courts, everywhere. But the one that I choose to go to is right next to the beach. And it's like a nice area. It's clean. The beach is beautiful right there. And sometimes after we play, we're in the sun, we're sweating, we're covered in sand. It's, just being out in the sun is amazing. But then after you're all sweaty and covered in sand, you walk to the beach, and in the summer, the ocean is hot. The ocean is warm, just how I like it. And I walk into that ocean, and I'm just like, where am I? Where
Paradise.
Yeah.
It's like a moment in paradise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I could just as easily get in my car and go home and not really take those couple seconds to look around and be like, I am so fucking lucky to be
Hmm.
here.
Hmm. You are. You remind me of, so Brandon Bouchard, the high performance coach. So one of his like subscription emails that came through, I just read through it, and
Yeah.
he was saying, or actually no, this was a James Clear one. Sorry, this was his the James Clear 321 newsletter. Yep, I
Oh,
read
but I
it.
just messaged you about James
Yes,
Clear today.
yes. That's, I know. I was like, wait, this is so crazy. But it was like, there was a quote in it that was like, two is greater than one, but one is infinitely better than zero. And so to your point, like how impactful even taking 1 minute to just after that volleyball game, just go down, just like relish in the beauty of being present and taking 1 minute to just pause, like
Yeah.
how impactful that is. It doesn't have to be an hour, it doesn't have to be even 2 minutes.
Yeah.
1 minute is infinitely better than zero.
Yeah.
No, that was a good one, huh? I know.
Yeah.
That's so good, so good. Well, and I love this too, like, because remember, the whole point of you and I doing this on a weekly basis is just so that, like, we're trying to challenge each other, we're trying to be challenged,
Yeah.
just in thought, in some of our own daily practice and habits. And that is how we're showing up as mothers, that's how we're showing up as entrepreneurs, that's how we're showing up to serve, like, in all of the different capacities. And I do think that there's some really, like, at the core of that, there has to be the power of the pause that
Mm.
we've kind of mentioned about before, like the power of the pause, the power of being able to be present, and the way that that grounds you to then show up as the person that you want to show up as. What does that
Do you feel
trigger for
like,
you? Yeah.
well, I'm just trying to think like, I wonder for you, like, have you seen evidence of a change? Like, do you remember maybe before you were able to really take, I love that, first of all, the power of the pause, before you started doing that, or do you even feel like you are currently doing that enough,
Mm-hmm.
right? Did you see like, oh, I'm getting frustrated, I'm very irritable, or like I feel like nothing's going right, and then you started implementing the power of the pause,
Yeah.
and then you started feeling that way less, like you started noticing the things that were going well, like, you know what I mean? Has there been any kind of a transition or a distinction for
Great.
you through implementing that?
God, I love your questions. This is what I'm talking about. Like, so thoughtful, so thought provoking, so honest, so real. And then too, and I'm gonna want to know your thoughts too. So I don't know if you even want to pop that into the chat because it was so good. So anybody else join in, that they can kind of reflect on that too. For me, as far as like the power of the pause and where I implemented that or where I'm at with that, yes, I actually feel like that's probably one of my super strengths. I recognized a long time ago, because very lovingly, I was surrounded by people who I care deeply about, family members, that that was not a superpower. And
Mhm.
I constantly experienced how much they were missing. And
Yeah.
yeah, and it was like I just told myself, I that wasn't the life that I knew was meant for me, that was crafted for me. And I just refused, like I refused to let it all go by. Now that does not mean that I feel like I am a pro at it, because again, human, and like we get so busy. But I just know, like, the power of the pause has been, like, especially when I think back to some of, and like taking that moment to just be so present and grounded. Oh, one of the stories. So when we went to Ireland, that's funny how it circles back. When we went to Ireland, after traveling, like after doing that flight, there were four of us, and we were all so heck bent. We were like, we have to ground ourselves. We have to ground ourselves. And I don't even care if it sounds hippie-ish. It's a real thing,
Yeah.
okay? So we went to like one of the first castles that we saw. We took off our shoes. I don't really know if that's safe either, but we took off our shoes and we just stood there and we just grounded ourselves. And yes, there is apparently some science behind it. Like I guess it helps with jet lag and all the things because then you can
Really?
actually connect yourself to the world and the axis. And look,
But
not a scientist.
But did you, I mean, okay, I'm resonating a little bit because in Sedona, right, they
Yeah,
say that Sedona has this power and this energy. And so, but like, to be honest, when I was there, I didn't really feel it. I was looking for the aliens. I was looking for the energy, I didn't. So when you were in Ireland, when you were grounding yourself, did you actually, I don't know, did you feel something? Did you feel the
I,
energy?
I mean, like I didn't feel like a bolt of lightning, so there's
Bummer.
that. But I would say it does make a difference. I don't know
Okay.
how I would describe the feeling. Okay, so you haven't just like gone to a new place and immediately you're like, you know what, I need to ground myself. I need to like touch the earth or like touch the dirt or there's
This
nothing.
sounds like a Nelly Furtado song, first of all. Um,
It
no, I haven't. I've been to a place where I felt an energy, but
okay.
not in that way. Not in that way. But
What
now
place?
I'm gonna try.
You have to try. Yes,
Yeah,
I swear.
I'm just gonna
But now you
travel
have to tell me
barefoot from now on.
what place. What place did you feel this energy that you've never felt this energy before?
Uh, um, I always forget what we talk about. I
I
feel
know.
like I repeat my stories to
No,
you.
you're
But in Italy, in Sicily, I am not Italian. I'm not Sicilian, like not at all. But I went to Sicily, and when I got off the plane and got in the car to drive to wherever I was going, I was like, "Oh, this place is ugly. Like, I don't like it." And then I get out. Okay, so maybe this might be confirming what you're saying here, actually.
okay.
I did have shoes on though. I get out of the car, I put my feet on the floor and I start walking around, and immediately the whole place sort of transformed. And what was ugly a second ago, like just forever, became the most beautiful place for me. And it's the first place that I've ever felt like home. This is home. This is where I belong.
Ooh.
Or this is where I'm from, something like that. So,
See,
yeah,
there, there
yeah,
was there was something there. I
yeah,
believe that absolutely happens I think that can happen anywhere
yeah,
if we're willing to just like stop and notice it.
yeah.
Hmm.
I'm
Okay,
writing, I'm
so
writing these down.
same question back to you though, because I want to hear your response. So being present, and I guess personal opinion here, I think that to do some of the big things that I've learned about you that you've done in your life and some of the big transformations that you've had, uh, I think there has to be such like a presence to yourself and like an inner connection
Mm.
and knowing. And I think that
Oh,
that does come from being present.
yeah.
So when did you really start being present, like with yourself and in your life? And what did that look like? And what do you feel like the impacts of it were? I know I love these
So many,
conversations. What would I
so
do
many
without you?
answers. So many layers. Um, Thank you for saying that actually, about like, because of what I've done, and,
Mhm.
there has to be this. What came into my mind when you were saying that was that I feel like I've always been very connected to my inner voice, like my inner voice slash intuition. I
Mhm.
feel like has always been very loud and strong, and I've always trusted it very strongly. And so I think that has led me to being able to open so many businesses, because it's like I have this desire, I have this thing that I want to do, and I just go. I don't question it and doubt it. I just listen to it and I don't stop until it's created.
Yeah.
But I actually don't think that I was present when all of that was
Oh.
going on. So there's a couple, yeah, there's like some distinctions for me here.
Mm.
Um, I mean, maybe in like those moments of, I guess you could say, like inner communication, yeah, I was present. But like through all of the doing, I became completely not present because I was so busy, so consumed with all the things, exactly, that literally that became the reason why I wanted to stop doing all of that stuff, because I couldn't be present with my daughter. I wasn't happy. Like I wasn't feeling gratitude for, I wasn't even noticing everything that I had created and done and had.
Yeah.
Um, and so the thing that made the big change for me around that, I think, was my money coach actually telling me repeatedly to start a gratitude practice, which I was like, oh, that's so, yeah,
I don't
like
have
three
time for
things.
that. I don't have time for that.
Yeah, like three little things every day. It's so stupid. It's not going to do anything. And I started doing it just to get them off my back.
Yeah.
And I swear to God, it changed my mind. It,
I've been in the same boat. The whole gratitude journal thing, like writing down even one thing, three things, whatever it is, what we focus on, and this is kind of what you said, what we focus on, we become, or what we
yeah,
focus on is what we end up living out. So whether it is being present in that moment, even the one moment to just like notice, maybe even to notice how like the beauty all around you, the majesty all around you, and how small sometimes that can make you feel. It's probably a good thing.
oh
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
actually love that feeling of feeling small around whatever is around you.
mm-hmm.
Because it's not in a self-conscious way of feeling small. It's in a way of like putting things in perspective. And this is what's really important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that perspective is huge.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then so you think that by practicing gratitude, like by creating a habit of practicing gratitude, that's kind of what flipped that a little bit for you in regards to the being present?
100%. 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have no doubt. Okay, also, I will say, side note, not stressing about money, but like the gratitude practice allowed me to stop stressing about money. First of all, it allowed me exactly what you said, what you focus on grows. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're focusing on the things that you have to be thankful for, the things that are going right for you, your mind automatically stops worrying about all the things that may happen or may
Mm-hmm.
not be going right. And that's what happened to me. I stopped stressing so much about money, and other good things were happening too, where like I didn't have to stress as much. But the combination, and I remember, like, I would take my dogs out, I would come back upstairs, the sun would be like beaming into my living room, and I would just like stop in awe
Yeah.
at how lovely, like how beautiful, and like my plants and all the green outside, and like how cozy my sofa is with all the pillows and the blanket, and like how lucky, these little things that we pass 100 times a day and we don't even look at, we don't even glance at. And I started noticing that I was noticing them.
Yeah, no, yes, and that too. I remember when I first started like a gratitude journal, and I think it was right out of the gates. It was like you had to write three things. I went out and bought, it was like the 2-minute daily journal or 2-minute gratitude journal. I know you can still get them
Yeah.
on Amazon. But it was, at first, it was really easy. It was like, of course, you're like, oh, I'm really happy for, I'm grateful for my home. I'm grateful for my husband. I'm grateful for my kids. And I'm telling you, it was not long, maybe even like 30 to 60 days, which doesn't sound long at all,
Mm-hmm.
before I started realizing that I was struggling a little bit
Mm-hmm.
to actually come up with things that I was grateful. I was like,
Yeah.
well, okay, how do I not say I'm grateful for waking up again this morning? Like, come on, this all seems so elementary.
Right.
And it was in that moment that I was like, this all seems so elementary, that I was like, there it
Yeah.
is. There it is. Like the most simplest things, like that's actually where gratitude starts,
Yeah.
and then it only grows from there. I thought that was interesting too, just how difficult it got at first.
Agreed,
Mm-hmm.
100%. And there are moments where I'm sitting there with my journal
Yeah.
and I'm like, "Ugh, did I write that yesterday? Ugh, I don't know. What am I great?" And then I just look around and I'm like, okay, I'm grateful. Some days
I'm
it's
grateful
just
for
like
my cat. My kid
I'm,
feels
know,
good.
but it truly is like it makes you think deeper, and it makes you be like, okay, this stupid, like this unnecessary little thing, the fact that I can even have this,
Yes.
the
Yeah.
fact that I live so comfortably that I can have these knickknacks around me that like don't matter at all.
Yeah.
There's so many people in the world that don't have that don't even have a space, a
Yeah.
home that they can put those things in, right? And so it makes you think more deeply about this stuff. It starts out as a little cheesy, right? And I wanted to say too, as you were saying that, men, right? Like men, I don't think do these kinds of things as frequently as women do. I have a lot of male clients that I've told them, brah, you gotta
Write it
do,
down.
you gotta do a gratitude journal. I know it sounds cheesy, but like, because I think too, a lot of men, especially when they are maybe, they have kids and they have their wife, and a lot of my clients, maybe the wives don't work. And so they feel a lot of pressure all the time to provide and a lot of stress.
Yeah.
And so it's like you have to give yourself credit for what's going right. You have to spend more time focusing on what you've done well up until this point because you're
Exactly.
so hard on
Well,
yourself.
and to the way that, so like being present, you're practicing the gratitude, actually listening to that, or creating space so that you can listen to that inner voice on what are you most grateful for, what is coming through for you. And actually being able to then, when you're doing that, what it does is exactly what you're saying. It creates momentum that then starts to spiral into more good things. And I think, yeah, just the starting, because you're right, we all have pressures on us,
Yeah.
and it's a male, female,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Like, we've all got the pressures on us. So if you guys are joining us right now, Melissa and I, we're talking about, and this is not where we thought we were going today,
But I love
but
that.
we're talking.
That's part of it.
I love it. It's exactly. So we're talking about just being present. And Melissa just shared her moment where she really became, she was able to become present by starting to do the gratitude journal. And then both of us, we were sharing our experiences with that and that they work. So if you haven't started a gratitude journal, like, would you just challenge yourself
Yeah.
for, for just do it for 3 days, right? Like, you could do anything for 3 days. Start it for 3 days. And then Melissa and I want to know what you think. So, or pop in the comments if you've ever done a gratitude journal, like, talk to us about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Please write some comments. See if you've done it, have you noticed that it helps your mindset at all? Have you noticed that you've been happier throughout the day? I don't think it's something that you can do and then stop because I notice
Interesting.
sometimes I'll start to get frustrated or I'll start to have negative thoughts. And then I remind myself, okay, you know what? Tomorrow morning or this morning, whatever, you got to do the gratitude journal because it just flips your
Your
mind.
mind.
And so, and like even with business owners, if you need clients, if you need, people to attend your webinars, because Britt, I know you have webinars, whatever it is you need for your business, start writing down the things that are going well in your business, or like if it's clients, the clients that you already have that you're so grateful for them, you're grateful for that new revenue that's about to come in,
Yeah.
that's on its way.
Wait.
Yeah.
So with that it's something that you have to stay consistent with.
Hmm.
I will challenge you on that one. I know you like when I do this. So from personal experience, I just think about how many times, like, I've started journaling or started the gratitude journal, and or even to, like, started a workout routine,
Yeah.
and then something happens. Like, I don't think that we ever start things with the anticipation of letting ourselves down. Like, oh, I said I was going to do this journal for 365 days. I'm now into it 60 days, and something fell out of the sky, and now I didn't do it. And now I think sometimes we let the stop when life happens, or when we couldn't prioritize it or didn't prioritize it. Sometimes we get like, we create this storm in our own mind that it's like, well, then F it. I'm I can't stay consistent. I can't do it. What's even the purpose? If I have to start again, like,
Not
what's the
working
purpose?
anyway.
It's not
Yeah.
working anyway. And I can't think about how many times I have started and stopped so many things.
Yeah.
But it was like, through each of it, there was always a season for it. And I think of the way that it benefited me when I did start again.
Yeah.
Because then I started to learn, just like what you said, I started to learn the triggers. I started noticing the patterns when it was like, wow, I feel a little overwhelmed and stressed.
Yeah.
I haven't journaled in about 2 weeks. I should make time. I should make time for that tomorrow. And then I do. And then, so it's almost like you equip yourself with tools, or at least in
Yeah.
my experience, like, I've equipped myself with different tools because I had to start and stop things along the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you see what?
And yeah, um, Rafa, you said it helps focus on what you have and what you want. Focus equals direction and
Mhm.
energy control over what you are being grateful for.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
I'm curious. I also too something that you said a couple minutes ago. I want to go back to just how at first journaling and gratitude, like practicing gratitude, can seem so cheesy. I've had people, yeah, have that kind of response where it's like, you have you ever tried journaling? And they're like, nah, not for me. And you're like,
Yeah.
just try it. And sure enough, 3 days later, clients will come back and they'll talk about the impact that it had. And it's like, there's no way in heck. You think about some of the most absolutely like wildly brilliant and successful people on the planet. Oprah. Let's talk about Oprah. Oprah's got like her own joy journal, like that she does every day. Like she's like forward
The
about how much
queen
she
of,
journals and practice
yes.
gratitude. And, some of the greats out there. Like it all. So much of it stems from gratitude.
And it's also, it's, it allows for self-awareness because I know for myself, when I write, my thoughts are able to flow out of me so
Mhm.
much more clearly than when I'm speaking. When I'm speaking, I feel like start, stop, start, stop. My brain can't keep up with my mouth or vice versa. I don't know what it is, but when I'm writing, it's just, it flows and things that I didn't even know I thought come out of the
Show
pen.
up. Yeah. Yeah.
So I
Oh,
think it's like, it's just a way to connect with yourself and to also allow yourself to express. I mean, duh, as I'm saying it, I'm like, duh, it's expression. But a lot of us don't do it, especially with all the electronics now. Like, I mean, even if you're writing on the computer, I think that's still better
yeah.
than not writing
They're
at
not
all.
writing it down. I told you. I think I shared with you last time we did this. It's like you're 42% more likely to accomplish your goals if you write them down. Like that.
Keep
Like
telling me that.
write them down.
Please keep repeating that to me.
It's so important. It's like, or just writing things down, just again, like the impact that it has on our brains to just allow it to pour out in a non-judgmental space so that you can, how you said, how you can notice that you're noticing. Brilliant.
Mhm.
So connected to yourself. I love it. Oh my goodness, my friend. What else? I really liked, and I know something I'm going to walk away from this conversation with is just like unpacking, even in my own life. You mentioned kind of intuition versus being present, and so
Mhm.
that's something I'm going to be like. That was a challenging moment for me. So that's something that I'm going to kind of be unpacking as I walk through the rest of my day. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. And what I took away is just the power of the pause. I just love that phrase so much. And I feel like that's going to be something that I repeat to myself. Like
Hmm.
tonight, I'm going to take my daughter to volleyball practice. I played volleyball throughout high school and college. And so now seeing my 11-year-old on the court with all these other little 10, 11, 12-year-olds playing volleyball, it's like I'm sitting there and I'm doing other things. I'm reading, I'm on my phone, but I really want to take the power of the pause and I want to record these moments,
Hmm.
you know?
Yep. Yep. Not only for yourself, like selfishly, 80% plus probably for yourself,
Yeah.
but also too for that millisecond that your little baby looks up and she sees that her mama's attention is glued on her because
Priceless.
she's the most important thing on the planet, not the phone, not the notebook, not the person next to her. Like that's yeah, I always think about that moment when I'm watching my kids' games and stuff too. Like
Yeah.
mom is here because you're the most important thing on the
Yeah.
planet.
And they care so much.
They care
Like
so much.
she's watching to see if I'm watching.
Yeah, 100.
Yeah.
Yeah, always, always.
Yeah.
Oh, my friend, I love this. Thank you so much. Every
Love
single
it.
time,
I had goosebumps. I
I'm
had
so proud of
goosebumps.
us. What you always do. That's how we
I
know it's good.
know.
And you know what? I'm so glad that we just let the conversation flow where
Me
it
too.
needed to today versus the one idea that we had. And I'm sure that the idea will pop up again later for us. And
Mhm.
until next week. So thank you guys all for joining. Appreciate anybody watching the replay on this. We always really do love your comments, your feedback, whether that's in DMs or below. Again, the whole reason we're doing this is to challenge ourselves, to be challenged. we want to be thought leaders in our space. So how do we do that? We surround each other. We're willing to have these conversations. Iron sharpens iron. So get in the arena with us. Like, let's play. Let's go.
You have so many good phrases. Iron sharpens iron. My God.
That
Keep
was
them coming. I got to write
that
them
was
all
not
down.
mine.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. All right, girl. Talk to you
Okay.
later. Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.